Joining us in the Movieland spotlight this month is Keith Coogan, an actor from Los Angeles, California, known from his appearances in Adventures of Babysitting, Jane and Silent Bob Reboot, and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Let's go, buddy. How you doing today?
Amazing. I told the studio executives that title was hard to say. Don't with the mom and she's dead and the babysitter. So yeah, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, absolutely. So you come from Hollywood royalty. Your grandfather was a legendary Jackie Coogan. How did this legacy influence your decision to become an actor?
I don't know if it influenced my decision. I just wanted to be on TV. I saw like kids on like some TV shows, children's shows like Sesame Street and stuff like that.
Right.
And as I kind of worked into it, you know, I'm kind of waking up to the fact that my family has been doing this for generations. My great-grandfather had done 2 real silent pictures with Buster Keaton and Fatty Arbuckle and a bunch of theater whores from vaudeville and such. So I learned that it was a career. I learned from my family, it's a career, there's rules, and this is how you do it. This is how you move up in the office. And I just followed kind of the family advice. They'd set the model. I had a nice path cleared for me by my grandfather. So because of him, there was good structure. I didn't work too long of hours, nothing too dangerous on set. I had a set teacher that doubled as a social worker, and it was all because of his, the labor law based off of his experiences. And so I had a wonderful time. I loved it. And it hurts me. There are other, fellow child stars that say that they had horrible experiences. And it's terrible because it was one of the best times. I love being on set, love making movies and TV. I feel bad because it was one of the happiest times of my life, any time I'm on a set. And so to feel that other people felt pushed into it or they didn't enjoy it, that sucks. There's definitely parts that I don't enjoy about the industry. The schmoozing and the networking and, it can be rough. But getting work, that's the hardest thing for an actor. Most of the job is trying to get a job.
Your first role was like actually voicing Red Fox Todd in The Fox and the Hound alongside Corey Feldman. How was that experience?
Oh, that was great. That was about 2-3 years into working, and I'd done some TV commercials and movies, weeks and after-school specials, and I'm auditioning for all this stuff. And an audition comes along, and they go, "It's just for voiceover." And I had an audition for anything. They're like, "It's animated, and it's Disney." And I got it, and my grandfather had said, "Now they're taking away 2 of an actor's biggest tools. Your eyes and your body, your face. It's just going to be your voice. You have to put 100% into your voice." I love The Fox and the Hound. Great honor to be in the last of the classically animated Disney films, and it's a heartbreaker of a movie. So that was tremendous. We started in 1978 doing voices, and it came out in 81. So I was 8 when we started, and I was 11 when it was released.
I remember being really excited to see it when it came out. So yeah, being a part of Disney film, well, on your filmography, there's got to be something to be proud of for sure. But
fantastic.
You were in some of the most iconic 80s and 90s films like Adventures in Babysitting and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That's double babysitting duties, buddy.
I know, and I'm even in the remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah.
Got my Babysitter trilogy.
Babysitter trilogy.
And originally, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead was called The Real World.
Oh, really?
Kind of a working girl, secret of my success, how she's locked out her credentials to work in the office. And mid-movie, they changed the title. We're in the middle of shooting, and they said, MTV has this reality show called The Real World. And so we changed it. And I was frustrated. We were all kind of horrified. We thought we were making a serious subversive picture on, women in the workplace. And it wound up being the perfect title for the film.
I don't know. I personally am attached to Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead because, I grew up with it. And I think, a lot of people hear that name and go, exactly. It's a nostalgic kind of movie straight away. And how did the role of Kenny Cardell come? Like, what drew you to the character in the first place?
Well, the script was great. It was a little bit different, but it was the basic, exact same kind of story beats and structure, and a little bit of family life, a little bit of office life, her little romance. I was auditioning for the clown dog delivery,
right.
Brian. One of the things my grandfather had said is never do the same part twice, you'll get typecast. I expressed interest in this other part that my agent said I was too old for, and I did convince the casting director to let me read for it. It was totally different. I was a big nerd and, a professional actor guy. And so it was really fun to play this dirtbag brother that by the end of the movie cares about his family and himself a little bit. That's one of the things the remake did, was it showed a little more togetherness on the kid's part when everything goes down.
Right.
Both are great. Please go watch the remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. It's on streamers and stuff. I don't know where you guys can get it down there, but it's been out a year. I'm very proud of it. And I shot the behind the scenes of the new version, and just go making of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and YouTube's got a 6-minute video I made. Shows you how much fun it was. We shot back at the original house, and very loving tribute to the 91 release.
Oh, that's amazing. It's actually something I haven't checked out yet, but I only just yesterday realized that you were making a cameo appearance in it. So now it's on my to watch list. I'm usually not a crazy about reboots much, but now that I hear you're in it, I'm definitely intrigued. But I've seen that you're not actually reprising your role. You're just having a different role in it. Is that right?
Correct. We, Joanna Cassidy and Danielle Harris and I come back in different parts just to kind of absolutely show our support, give something for the fans. Fans love cameos and Easter eggs and stuff. And the remake has so many. It's at one point they go, "What do we do with the body? Go drop her off at the morgue." And they go, "What is this? 1991? There's cameras everywhere." The babysitter, the sister walks into the room, and the kids are watching TV, and she pauses the TV, and on the TV is Joanna Cassidy at the fashion show from the original movie. So Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead exists within the universe of the remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
That's great. I'm definitely intrigued to check it out now. And for those wondering, it is available to watch in Australia on Amazon Prime Video. So get that a rental and check it out.
Great. That's great.
But yeah, the dishes are done, man. Became like a cult line. Like, did you ever expect that kind of legacy of a role?
Oh, no. But the big surprise of Don't Tell Mom is, and it's great, very lucky, the line. There's a lot of great dialogue and a lot of great lines in that movie. Right on top of that, Rose. But the line was the tag of the trailer. And so this 2-minute trailer, Warner Brothers released, and they played it, for a week straight. And so you didn't even have to see the movie, and you were exposed to dishes are done, man. And they do the same bit again in the new version. Don't Tell Mom was kind of subversive, made by the same producers that did Taxi Driver and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And it came out, for a summer release, which is something studios would never do. They're never do like a little teen or tween movie at this time. And it performed modestly well. Everyone was pretty happy. And I just love that it kind of hung on there. It had co-produced with HBO. And so it had really good DVD. It was actually released on DVD before it was released on video. Had $1 million ad campaign for the home release. And then it wound up playing every summer on HBO. Every summer. And I've said it never really had a chance to catch into nostalgia because it's just always been around. Whether you see it when you're 7 years old or you see it, when you're older or growing up, it still resonates because it's still true. Office work and everything is ridiculous, especially if it's not something you're passionate about. So the teen fantasy is that you're into something and then the corporate world sees your value and then you get promoted even though you don't have the education that you need for it. That's the fantasy of it. Yeah. And she dates and goes on a Grunion run, but it's that wish fulfillment of like, it would be great if we just had an easy button. She lucks out. And the whole thing was premised on risky business. In that the parents leave town and the teenage boy, the whole world falls to hell. They said, what if it's a girl? Probably the house would be in better shape when the parents come back. And so that they wanted it to be better when the mom comes back.
Yeah, no, it's definitely pitched good to the right crowd. And I've seen it when I was pretty young. I didn't catch it at the cinema, but it was a videotape rental for me. And I rented it quite a few times. Actually, one moment. I haven't returned my videotape yet.
That's great.
Hang on, it's not focused. There we go. That's the clamshell copy. It's a great copy. Very clean.
Great.
Yeah, no, rented it a few times, loved it, and obviously resonated with your character a lot. And your character had like great comedic timing in this film. Like, I just want to know, like, for your performance, like, how much was scripted versus improvised, or was that all just scripted?
Pretty much all scripted.
Yeah.
That type of comedy. Stephen Herrick, who had directed Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, it's got to be quick and crisp and very clear. There's a lot of kind of moving parts in a movie like that. Keeping track of all the kids at home and all the office characters, and you hit set, maybe you workshop it a little bit in hair and makeup or, craft service table. You hit the set, camera rehearsal, and kind of get the flow of it. Shoot a big dumb wide master just so that you've got it in one big huge wide take, and then insurance is covered and you're like, all right, we got the scene technically, let's go in for some close-ups. And what it was a lot of trust. I couldn't believe that they went for me playing the younger brother, and I wore a wig for the movie. They had these handmade wigs made for me, and they'd seen all of the guys that read for Kenny that were great. They just became my best friends in the movie. It's called Casting Down in Hollywood. They'll cast everyone for the lead, and if you're great but you don't get it, then they put you as the best friend or a coworker or something like that. So there were plenty of guys that had the long hair. So I was very grateful to them. Producers were awesome. They had done a temporary cut of the movie. They're like, first run it, like, here's what we're going to show the studio. Here's the director's cut. And they were so happy, they sent me a 4-foot graphics water pipe, otherwise known as a bong, which is hysterical because my stepdad was home at the time. He goes, what'd you get there? Some roses? And I opened this huge box, and it's a big bong. So the producers were very happy with the performance. And what's funny is the one thing that this just became a comment on one of my posts the other day. Someone said they became a chef. And it's not the first person. I've talked to people, fan conventions, fan letters, and online people have mentioned that they were layabouts on the couch, wasting their lives, and they got inspired by Kenny's journey, and they joined Culinary Academy, and now they're 5-star chefs at, some resort in Miami or something like that. Because it was a surprise. It's a little bit of an ambush. People go to see the, Swell or Christina Applegate's story, and they're like, this brother, the rock and roll brother, gave something for the teenage boys to hang on to for a little bit of the movie, kept their attention. And he's totally Spicoli meets Bill and Ted, like just mash everybody together, and that's Kenny. Even though he's a dirtbag, even though he's neglectful to his family, he comes around, and that's what I loved about him, his transformation. I didn't bite Kenny from Keanu Reeves on River's Edge because I didn't see River's Edge until after I had done Don't Tell Mom. And when I saw River's Edge, I went, oh my God, because it was so much like, oh my God, it was so similar.
The wardrobe and hair were peak early 90s. How much input did you have on Kenny's look? And would you say that's something you rock outside of the movie, or is that completely a different person to you?
Oh, completely different person. My hair might have gotten Kurt Cobain length at one point, but never that. I don't have that lush kind of rocker mane. So yeah, Kenny. I wore a wig again in the Army now. Pauly Shore and Andy Dick, and Lori Petty and Isai Morales, and that was a wig to look like Pauly Shore's hair.
Right. Yeah, I love that film. Well, I'm going to keep hitting you with this one since we're in this topic. But yeah, what was it like working with Christina Applegate at that time in her career?
Oh, it was great. She's, on top of her game. Some interview recently, she said that she had a lot going on in her life, like personally. And I think she was running Viper Room at the time. And I have no idea what that was, but she didn't show it on set. Always prepared. She did have a little help. If you check the credits, it says assistant to Miss Applegate, Lori Depp. So Johnny Depp's ex-wife was on set, and Kristen, because they all ran the Viper Room together, some weird thing. So I don't know what the personal issue was about, but she's a great actress and a pro. So yeah, I love her. Christina, love you.
Well, do you keep in touch with anyone else from the cast at all?
I wish I kept in touch with more people from all casts.
Yeah.
And it was something that Toy Soldiers, George Perez said, that I said to him when we wrapped Toy Soldiers. He goes, oh, it'd be great to see you and everything. And he goes, or great to hang out after. And I go, well, we probably won't. And I was shocked that he told me that I had said this years ago. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, well, you're going to book a job, and then I'm going to get another movie, and you'll be there, and we'll probably not see each other. Like, we'll see each other at events and things, and that's about it. And he was shocked that I said that, but it was true. And so, unfortunately, you just don't get to see many people. I was friends with Christina Applegate prior to making the movie. Maybe I turned it. I don't know. But after the premiere, I don't think I've ever seen her again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Probably had to do with a out of context quote. I get a call from People magazine one day. They're like, what do you have to say about Christina Applegate's fashion choices? I know she's kind of boho, and, I said, she's a hardworking, actress and dancer, and she probably just wakes up and grabs whatever's laying by the side of the bed. That's all they printed in People was, she probably just wakes up and grabs the first thing that, oh my God. And I'm like, she probably never talked to me again after that. There's a bigger quote. I was trying to say that you're just so cool and working hard that you don't care about that. But if she nailed it on Married with Children,
yeah,
it's very hard to be a comedian, but she is a genius level, Marilyn Monroe type comedy genius. And I would argue that Kelly Bundy was the smartest of the Bundys, knew exactly how to work everybody. So, yeah, love Christina.
Yeah, Christina's definitely made a big name for herself, especially with Married with Children. But she has another great TV drama just recently that brought me to tears at the very end called Dead to Me. I don't know if you checked that one out. Wow.
It's great.
Such a
great show. Yeah, great show.
Do you have any favorite behind the scenes stories from making that film, or funny moments at all? Like, I mean, you're stuffing dead bodies in crates and everything. There's got to be something that would have been funny.
We did almost burn the neighbor's house down. Okay, so long story short, there was a security guard and allegedly had kept a dog in a car and was like, it like pulled up on his leash and was beating him something, and they didn't like how the security guard said something like, oh, the dog's just dehydrated. Okay, so that's cut to a week later or so, and we have taken black foil, aluminum foil, but it's black, and you put it around the neighbor's lights so that it blackens out their lights. So they can have their lights on, but we're just going to black them out. And we asked permission to do all that. They could be out of town. We had neighbors that had won the lottery and were out of town. And so we just put these little sconces around so that it would block out the light. Well, unfortunately, they had left them on the house and wrapped, and it started smoking because the light, it's not supposed to be there for more than a couple of hours. So a different security guard had spotted it, and they were able to put it out. It was fine. And the response was, well, the house wasn't on fire. It was just dehydrated. So everything was fine. And the house looks great in the new movie. They've done some renovations to it, but it is basically the same bones of the house. And it's so much a part of it. And I was so happy that we got to go back there and shoot at the original house. That made it pretty special.
That's good to hear. It's still standing as well. Does any of the film take place in that actual house? Like, so I know some films, do the exterior, but like the inside's done in studios.
Sure. I was mentioned on a comment the other day on one of the socials. Someone said, was that a set? And the only set, ad hoc even, it was inside of a warehouse in Burbank. They built the GAW offices. So the interior of the office is her office with her little fridge with Sprite and tab. That's just a trans light behind her window. Fake elevator doors with grips, just like pushing and closing. That's all just flats and a fake set. That whole office, the lobby and everything. Everything else was shot on location. Roofs of hotels, location. Beach, location. After most movies do all their location filming first, so they have a cover set in case weather or something happens or a location's unavailable. And so after about a month, we wound up moving into the house and finishing the movie. Like we just were at the house for another straight month. And that's where you settle down and kind of grind and you shoot the interior scenes and stuff like that. And it was great long shoot, a lot of night shoots again. I don't know why I get these movies that have all these night shoots. But the party took a week to shoot the party sequence. Super fun. And then it came out. The dialogue is great. There's a funny line every 2 lines. There's 5 great lines on every page. And the writers involved in the new one is written by Chuck Hayward, who wrote Dear White People, WandaVision, and produced and wrote the last season of Ted Lasso. And it's absolutely fantastic. Have I pitched the new one enough?
Yeah, you've definitely sold it to me. I was not going to look at it, but definitely going to check it out for sure. I wish you were reprising your role because it would have answered this next question for me. Hypothetically speaking, like where do you think Kenny would be today? Like running a 5-star restaurant or back on the couch with some smoking utensils?
It's a quick little diner spot, but it's also a dispensary, so it's weed and waffles.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, he gets kids on scooters and stuff. Go ahead, deliver it here, and it's a beautiful Belgian waffles and a little, Skywalker gold.
Love the answer to that one. Well, you made a little cameo in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot playing as yourself. How did that come about?
My wife, we had read in the news that Kevin Smith was doing a movie called Reboot, and Pinky goes, why don't you ask Kevin if you could be in Reboot? And I'm like, I don't know Kevin Smith, but that's not how it works. You got to go to the agent and the casting director. And she goes, just freaking ask him. So she wound up placing me in front of Kevin Smith and said, can I be in Reboot? I hear you're doing it. And he said yes. And it happened. It was a lot of work. And it took a year from the moment that he said I was in it to being on set. And it was a blur, took like 2 hours to shoot. But I had great fun because I got to work with Jay and Silent Bob and Diedrich Bader, the security guard Dick. And it was also a day they were shooting a lot of cameos. So they had Vanderbeek was there and the comic book men and the guy that made Walking Dead. And it was fantastic. Fantastic fun. Crazy to shoot in New Orleans, doubling his jersey. They built a quick stop outside of New Orleans and they took him to the set and he goes, my God. And it looks fantastic. Hardcore fans will be like, that's not the same spot, but they did a really good job and they used all of it, the whole country. They go on a road trip from Jersey to Hollywood and they find spots in Louisiana to represent, the whole road trip. Yeah. Really cool. Once again, he was shooting very little money, very little time, in his style. Really neat. And one of the coolest things to see was he's playing Silent Bob, but he's also playing Kevin Smith, the director. Just as I'm not playing myself. It doesn't say Keith Coogan himself. It says Keith Coogan playing Keith Coogan in the credits. So there's another twist that I'm playing a universe version that's in the Viewers universe of Keith Coogan. Which puts me in the same universe as Batfleck, doesn't it? I think it does. I love that Dogma is also getting a big celebration right now. So eventually we wind up at the Chinese Theater on Hollywood Boulevard at a premiere with Tommy Chong sitting behind me, and amazing to be part of the of the whole Jay and Silent Bob thing. I need to go on one of those cruises. Jan's Views Universe, the cruises. Come on, Keith Coogan, let's go.
That'd be wild. It was nice to see them pay tribute to the film Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead and bring a character into the movie in some shape or form. They'll throw in a lot of words in there, like, what was it? Fishes are done instead of dishes are done.
Yep. Keith Coogan classic.
Well, working with those guys, I gotta say, like, wouldn't there be some funny stories on set? Or was it all like, on camera was all the comedy, and then once it hit take, everyone's just snap?
Oh God, I get to set and I go hair and makeup and stuff, and I go to get mic'd by the little sound cart, and they're miking up Kevin and Jay. You could hear a pin drop. It was like a morgue. No one was talking to each other. They're just standing there like this. And I'm like, is the set like this every day? And someone said that Kevin and Jay had it out the night before. Well, no, they had it a late night. They'd been shooting all night.
Oh, right.
And Jay is fantastic in Reboot. He is fantastic in it. He kind of, I don't know if he went method, but he did go deep and focus. And him and Kevin's daughter playing his daughter, he really cries on screen. He does a fantastic job, and he's still funny as hell. He's still Jay, as Boo Boo Kitty would say, my sweet little Jay. It was weird that he had people playing different people from the universes, but he'd already double cast people, so it was hard to say what they're going to, I don't know. It's that's for Kevin to figure out.
That's definitely a milestone on your filmography there for sure. But first up, going back or to rewind a little bit, talk more about your babysitting roles. Let's talk about the adventures of babysitting. What was it like working with director Chris Columbus on what would be his very first feature film directing, like coming from like writing Gremlins, Goonies, went on to do Home Alone. That's a massive director right there.
Oh, absolutely. And he was 25, 27. He said he missed the record for the youngest director of a studio picture by a year, because Orson Welles had apparently directed something before him. And he's a film student and a Spielberg protege. And so he just knew movies really well. And that was a great way to communicate. He'd be like, in this part in Raiders, or, in this part in this movie. And then you're like, okay, I got it. And he shared the same. I mean, he wrote Goonies, so obviously he gets kids, and there was something unique that I haven't had. The only other movie we had rehearsals on was Toy Soldiers, which had a week of rehearsals, but Adventures of Babysitting had 2 weeks of rehearsals. And it was just the main cast in Toronto in a production office and just doing the scenes over and over again, kind of like a stage play, improvising, playing with them. Script supervising, writing stuff down, new pages the next day. And after about 2 weeks, we had a new working, really believable kind of thing. And Chris just kept telling us, you're reacting realistically under extraordinary circumstances. So don't overdo it. Let everybody else be wacky. Eventually, we found out that he learned the lesson of, was it Preston? Who did Bringing Up Baby? Preston Sturges? He said the mistake he made in Bringing Up Baby was that every character was crazy. You had no normal, sane people for the audience to kind of hang on. And so he wanted the kids to be, kind of grounded or believable. Over the Top was the big thing. It had come out, and we had all seen the Sylvester Stallone truck driving arm wrestling movie, Over the Top. And he goes, well, that's a new code on set. So if we ever went too big, he'd cut and he'd go, OTT, Over the Top, bring it back. Or else we try to bring it back down. Because film is big. Back then, people didn't just watch them on their 6-foot screens at home. You'd watch it on a screen where, people are 10 times larger than life, and my nose is 3 feet tall. And he was a kid. He'd get in the trenches with us. Any stunt, any, I-beam we had to walk on or anything, he would go out and demonstrate it and go, see, it's safe. We were under a lot of scrutiny because the trial for the Twilight Zone disaster was undergoing in LA at the time we were shooting. And so we were under watch of how late Maya Bruton could work and Anthony Rapp. They had to be wrapped at certain hours and stuff. And so, but it was a big, Adventures of Babysitting was a big rolling thunder production. They had all the resources they would need. It was, all the trucks and lights and all that other good stuff and cranes. It was part of Touchstone Pictures' slate of movies. Movies like Stakeout and Splash and Ruthless People, Outrageous Fortune. And Touchstone was financed by Silver Screen Partners 3, which is the most successful film finance company in the history of movies. 600% return on your money, because their goal was to make pictures under $10 million budget and then hope for big hits. So at 37 million or whatever Adventures of Babysitting wound up pulling, it was in theater for weeks. After it was released 4th of July weekend, they added theaters and box office went up second weekend. And it hung in there for, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks, and then became a video store favorite. It doesn't talk down to kids. It's got some rough language in it so that if kids feel like they're seeing something dangerous, unless you see the Disney Plus Scrub version. And it still plays. I think it still works. It has a lot of heart, is an honest, little earnest, fun movie.
Funny story behind that is I actually didn't know about this movie until about a year ago, and the missus brought it up. She was saying this movie called Babysitting. I'm like, oh yeah, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. She's like, no, it's not that one. So I showed her the trailer of it. And then, we dug up that one, and I was like, oh, okay, let's watch it. So I watched it, and then you popped up again. I'm like, what's going on? You're in alternate universes, like it's that Mandela effect or something, and I'm like, this can't be right. But yeah, no, there's definitely some wild moments in this film. Like you said, they like tested a lot of things. I was gonna say, was there any funny or unexpected things happening shooting this one?
Oh my goodness. Well, we did a lot of it practically, so we really scaled buildings and got chased by cars. One of the close-ups on the L train sequence with the gangs, Brad gets stabbed in the foot. One of the close-ups was soft focus, and like, we need to reshoot a close-up. And so we had to find some night in the schedule where we had enough time to be able to run over and grab one shot on the L train. So we were going to go 3 o'clock in the morning. We wind up at the L train station, and we have the driver of the train, but we don't have the key to get beyond the gate and get into the train and everything like that. So our stunt coordinator had a lock pick kit, and he picked the lock, and we broke into the train, and we filmed the close-up, and we got out of there. Sorry to all of the Chicago Transit Authority. Love you guys.
You definitely did them all well. And speaking of Goonies, you worked alongside Sean Astin in Toy Soldiers. So tell me a little bit about that film.
Well, that was a film that every kid in town wanted to be on. It was Die Hard, meets Dead Poets Society. It had a little bit of taps in there. Just a chance for teenagers to be badass and be in a hard R action movie, everything. It was great. So everyone in town was trying to be cool and they're getting buff. And I'm like, I'm going up for the asthmatic. Like, I don't have to do nothing. On the set, there was like a gym at the hotel and they're all trying to get buff and eat right. And I'm like, sorry, give a crap. I love my character. I got him. I understood him. He is rich white trash, is a chicken. So the moment they point the guns, he's the first one to raise his hands. He will spit at the terrorists, but only when they're not looking. He he thinks he's very clever, of course, but he's a team player and he loves his friends. And I love the movie. I think it's a great last of the hard R action films.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it would have been a challenging role to do. Some of the scenes in there were perfectly done. Like I love the scene where the kid finally gets the gun, he runs out and he tries to shoot the guy and it just like shoots off into the
Yeah, it's a great script by David Koepp and Dan Petrie Jr. And David Koepp, I don't know, he writes like Jurassic Park and stuff like that. Fantastic writer for Spielberg.
How was it working with all the guns on set?
Oh, we had guns and grenades and shoulder arm missiles. Blackhawks, Apaches, Humvees, and we were also shooting that movie in kind of sequence. Once you blow up the cop car, that car's got to sit there blown up. So we kind of had to shoot everything up until that point and then kind of start just shooting the movie in order. As the terrorists got killed, they wake up to pick up on the car to the airport because they're done. You're wrapped. And they're back to L.A. So it's really tense in Virginia, because Charlottesville, because there is a guy on death row and he is about to get executed. They're about to do the electric chair. And I swear, and there was riots in the prison. They were shooting in the prison scenes for Toy Soldiers during a really tense time in the prison when they were like about to execute a guy. And I swear our hotel lights dimmed when they killed him. And we were like, did our lights just dim because they volted that guy? But the point of the story is that night on the news, we see bomb scare at LAX. I'm like, ooh, what's this? It goes, a movie, a Hollywood movie, and a bomb scare. I go, what's going on? This is apparently one of the terrorists had snuck a fake grenade in his luggage and flew back, and they found it in his thing in the screening. Oh my God. But it got us some pre-press before the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, great press. Yeah, free press.
The producer went on to head Island Records and Island Pictures. Dan Petrie, of course, is famous for killing Hooch. He wrote Turner and Hooch. He rewrote the Stallone version of Beverly Hills Cop in 3 weeks to suit Eddie Murphy. The Big Easy, great writer. And he directed In the Army Now, which is how I got in the picture.
I was going to say, out of all the characters you've played, is there one you feel you're most personally connected to?
Oh, wow. You try to put a bit of you in every character, then you might take a little bit of that character away from you. So you learn to play guitar or cook waffles or dance or whatever it is, that because you usually like take classes on that. So you look like you know what you're doing on screen. Mitch in Cousins is one of my favorite characters. I loved getting to do an adult movie. I was the only kid on it. And I felt I was kind of in the big boy land. Great director, Joel Schumacher, amazing cast. And, but Kenny is one I worked really hard on to create. This is me, serious actor talk about a goddamn movie called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. But I wanted to make a character, not a caricature. Even though I have the heavy Spicoli affectation and I don't know, man, I wanted people to buy him as a real dude. So I was very proud of that. I am very glad it is something people remember me for. If that's the only thing they remember, that's great. If they could quote that line, my job as an actor is to get a better script that has a better line than Dishes Are Done, Man. Matter of fact, my headstone will be, here lies Keith Coogan, Dishes Are Done, Man. So I love it. I accept it.
You're definitely more than that, buddy.
And I sell signed dishes online at my website, keithcooganonline.com. Get an autograph. You get Pinky makes handmade scarves that look like the babysitter scarf and Adventures in Babysitting. Lots of great tote bags. Love it. And I love that Kevin Smith reworked it to Fishes Are Done, man. So now I can put boxes of Swedish fish on my table at autograph conventions. Good stuff.
That's mad. Yeah. Well, you've definitely been a fan favorite at conventions and retrospectives. What would you say is your most surprising or touching fan interaction you've ever had? I know you say you inspire some people to do like, chef stuff and everything, but would that be the gold mine for you?
It was a girl who came up and she had this beaten copy of Fox and the Hound. And it was in the clamshell case, the, black diamond, puffy clamshell, oversized case, which just doesn't fit on the shelf with other videos. You have to have a whole different Disney section, right? Right. And she shows it to me. It's got water damage on it. So she goes, me and my mother used to watch this all the time. She's passed. We lived in the 10th Ward in New Orleans. And when we went back, our house got completely flooded. Floating was the copy of Don't Tell Mom that she used to watch with, and that's what she kept Fox and the Hound, sorry. We've been talking a lot of Don't Tell Mom. So that was one of the most touching stories, we're all crying and I'm signing Dishes Are Done, man. But it's crazy that, and I love it when people are like, I remember how old they were when they saw it, what theater, or watching something over and over again. It's great. It's wonderful. I love that people still love them, talk about them, and watch them. We've got drive-ins will do stuff. We did an Alamo Draft House tour, and coming up in about a week and a half, the Academy, the Oscars, they have a teen council, and they voted to do an 80s, 90s thing. They just did Clueless, and they're about to do Adventures in Babysitting, a 35 millimeter print at the Academy Theater and everything like that. So very cool. I'll go, present or open the movie and talk before it and stuff. So it's really cool that it's just hung around all these years. I'm very, very proud of it.
Definitely a touching story, and I got to think of it every time I see that movie. So yeah, no, that's great. And you're also like a very busy person. You're always at conventions. I had to book I think a month in advance to get you on this interview. So yeah, if you want to catch Keith and all of his stacks of dishes that he's trying to get rid of at a convention near you, stay tuned. Yeah. Well, what's your take on the current wave of these 80s and 90s nostalgia and TV and film?
Well, it's great. My current take is that it's contractual. So, yes, in the 80s, we loved like Cafe 50s. And in the 90s, it was all about the 60s again and patchouli and hacky sacks and hippies and stuff. And there seems to be about a 30-year gap between people's nostalgia and everything like that. And really, it's because Writers Guild America West has a clause in their contract that if a studio doesn't re-up the intellectual property rights within 35 years, all of the rights revert back to the original author.
Right.
Do you think some studio is going to let all of the rights and merchandising go? No. They're going to make a quick knockoff, a streamer, an animated thing, a YouTube show, re-upping the rights. It's cheaper for them. They own the rights, but it'll fall out of copyright or ownership of their usage of it. And so that's why we see a rash of remakes. It's just cheaper for the studio to do it. And it's a known IP. They know have a fan base, and it mitigates some of the risk of borrowing the money to make a movie.
I was hoping you're going to say, well, the 80s and 90s were the best time to be alive, and that's why we're going time traveling back there.
What's interesting about the 80s and 90s is that there was a little break-off genre of unsupervised children.
Right.
And that is a product of Reaganomics. Two working members of the household, mom and dad's at work, or mom and mom, or dad and dad's at work, and the kids are latchkey children. Got the key around the neck, and you go wake up, make yourself breakfast, get yourself to school. You don't even see your parents. You don't see them till 6, 7 o'clock at night when they get home. So you have time to ride your bike and get lost in the woods and find aliens and go on adventures and find treasure. I'm serious. How many kids today in school do you see with casts on their arms and legs? But when I grew up, 3 kids in every class had a cast on their arm or something because they were exploring and climbing trees and getting into trouble. And there's a great meme online right now, that song. There was no evidence of my childhood. There's no video. There's no red light cameras. There's no key card entry or facial recognition. There's no evidence. And those are the kind of entries that they saw other kids having fun. And, whether it's with garbage pail kids or it became a whole market. Kids had some disposable income, and they went and they became John Hughes. Have to really give it to John Hughes, which wraps right back to Chris Columbus, in that John Hughes showed studios that you could bank a teenager movie, that you could put $5-10 million into it and make $50 million on it. And that brought a lot of work for the rest of us kids in the late 80s.
That's definitely a good point. There's not much adventure in kids' lives these days, especially with technology. So I'd like to see 30 years from now how, they rewind 30 years to films that should be based in this era. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, there's a lot of shows that have like time travel or ones where people go back, and they're picking the 90s right now. They're kind of like, oh, I'm back to the 90s. And it's just very funny, the fashion and the smoking and the brick cell phones and stuff. Nothing like the fashion of the 90s. We hadn't figured out coming out of the 80s yet and going into boring 2000s.
Well, we're based in Australia. I was curious if you ever been down here before.
I have. I went for a wedding in Melbourne. I think that's the proper pronunciation. And it was in the given enclosure at the Melbourne Zoo with the monkeys screaming. Very interesting. And we cruised up the coast 45 minutes or so to the tiniest little town with one pub, one restaurant, one little antique, curio shop, and one lifeguard tower and great surfing. A little cove of a town. So I felt I got out of the city and out and about a little bit. And it's fantastic. It was great. I think I did 8 days in Australia. A lot of DUI checkpoints. I'm just going to say it right now. We're driving with like a host family or whatever, and they're like, oh, yeah, we probably got a checkpoint up here. And we're like, how do you know? They go, oh, every day, all the time.
Yeah, Melbourne's great. It's massive too, so you can get lost there forever. I'm in Adelaide, so it's a lot smaller and a lot simpler to get A to B, maybe everywhere in 45 minutes rather than 2 hours that way, 2 hours that way. But yeah, here at Movieland, we love recommending movies. Can you give us 6 movies you recommend for us to watch? Old, new, sky's the limit.
Oh my God, that's a lot of pressure.
Take your time.
Buckaroo Banzai, Sunset Boulevard, Sullivan's Travels, Blade Runner 2049. Watch, God, what should I tell people to watch? That's ridiculous. Chinatown, Empire Strikes Back, the first 2 Indiana Jones movies, Living in Oblivion, which is Tom DiCello movie. It is about making a low budget movie. To State and Maine, a Hollywood film crew moves into a small town. And God Spoke, which is a low budget attempt at filming the Bible. Hysterical. What else? Hooper, Stuntman, Smokey and the Bandit. My God, there's just too many to mention.
That's so good. Whether it's at the cinema or at home, what would be your ideal movie snacks?
Oh, popcorn, some M&Ms or Reese's Pieces to put in the popcorn. And really, I mean, dude, the hot dog, get the nachos. That's when you're like you're throwing down. You're spending $30, $40 at concession, but you are loaded up and ready to go. Problem if you just get popcorn and like one snack, you're done with them by the time the teasers and trailers are over and you have nothing to eat for the movie. So get substantial snacks when you go to the movie theater. That's the best part about it.
I got a bit of a ritual, me and the buddies, when we go, or even when I go alone, I get the popcorn, but I don't touch it until the actual movie starts. Like, wait for the trailers. It's hard because you got the popcorn sitting there. It's like, but as soon as the Universal logo pops up, whatever pop, that's when you start.
Discipline. You got to do the red vine as the straw in your soda, the whole deal. Yeah, there's something special about going to the theater. It's different than staying at home.
Yeah, when you said was it M&M's Reese's Pieces on the popcorn? The missus actually no, I've actually never seen anyone do it to the missus put Maltesers on a popcorn, and I was just like looking at her, why? And you're the second person I know who does this now. Well, I don't get it. Chocolate on popcorn. I'm simple. I just want popcorn and a Coke.
Because it's got the salty and the sweet in one deal. I think you are covered if you just get what's the popcorn I like with the
Kettle corn.
Kettle corn. That's you got kettle corn. Yeah. And my mom was an usher at a theater when I was very young, and I saw at time of release, front row, plop down in the front row, movies like The Exorcist, A Clockwork Orange, Jaws, and if you look, that means that I was 3, 5, 6, watching these horribly crazy films. She's like, "This is a movie. He's fine." And I got it. I got what a movie was, and I also got what those movies were trying to say. And so I've always liked filmmaking as a tool to move the needle on social issues. It just makes people see things differently. Movies can get to you. That's what Inception is all about. It's about movie making. There's been essays that, well, you have a producer, Sato. You have a cast, which is the guy that could look like anybody else. You've got a director, you got the location manager, you got the set builder. Ariadne is the set builder, and that all of the characters in Inception represent a film crew, and that there's different levels of subconscious. And every movie has a message. One morning, I hadn't slept enough, but I cried watching Black Knight starring Martin Lawrence.
Love that.
It's a beautiful movie. Oh, God. Redemption for the night. Oh, my God. I was a mess. So I just believe that there's no such thing as a bad movie because it's so hard to get a movie made. And that also might be the reason why in the 80s and maybe even the 90s, film had I don't want to say a higher quality. I just know that it wasn't date and demographic first. It was story and character first. Always think about the audience. It doesn't go into production until the script is really close. Now they start shooting and they don't even have a finished script. Because that date of release is a lot more. The actor's availability is more important. And so if they could just focus on really good scripts, come on, easy. Kevin Smith at the last Con just introduced Dogma 25, which is a rehash of the 90s Dogma film movement. No crews over 15 people. Only diegetic music. So if there's piano music, it has to be a piano in the scene. No sets. A hospital's a hospital. Police station's a police station. A school's a school. A house is a house. No costumes. No makeup. No artificial lighting. And no internet to make the movie. People go, what do you mean no internet? He goes, you could use email to, have everyone come together for a meeting. But there's no going over takes or footage or making everything. So you have to be in the room together and go, that take, look at her eyes. Ooh, no, that take, look at what he did there. Filmmaking is a collaborative medium. And I think under Dogma 25, and the budgets have to be under a certain amount too. So under those rules, maybe we'll get some more clerks. Maybe we'll get some more El Mariachis. Maybe we'll get some more slackers. The true, I call them the triumvirate of independent filmmakers that went outside the studio system, used their own money to make these movies, and then made a whole career after it.
Good, very good words there and very inspirational. All right, buddy. Well, I'm sorry to catchphrase you again, but interview is done, man. Thank you so much for joining us in the Movieland Spotlight. Wish you all the best in your future work, and thank you so much for joining.
I really appreciate it, man. Take care, guys. Rock and roll.
Download the digital Movieland magazine for free at movieland.au. Grab your popcorn and follow us because we bring you a one-stop shop for news on new releases at the cinema, digital rentals, and all of the streaming services combined. Catch all of this and more at our website, movieland.au. Don't forget to follow us on social media for daily news, movie recommendations, and spoiler-free reviews.